How I Became a Board Game Designer, Part 5. A Family of Teachers. I lived with 3 adults as I was growing up, my mum, my dad and my granny, and they were all teachers. Well, my granny was retired by the time I knew her, but previously she was a teacher. My dad was a head teacher, and both my mum and my dad had been teacher trainers, mum for most of her career. And there's a certain attitude that goes with teaching. There's a certain attitude of learning as well as teaching. I mean, most good teachers are lifelong learners. You're always learning new stuff. So they were quite happy to put themselves into situations like playing games where they were learning new skills, learning new ideas. But more than that, they knew that games were a really good way to teach. That if you can get people playing a game, then they are more, and being engaged in that game and being interested in that game, then they are learning without even thinking about learning. So my mum would create these games which she would teach her students, her student teachers, her trainee teachers, or the pupils in her class. I mean, she's 82 now and she still does supply teaching. She only stopped having her GCSE classes last year. I mean, she's retired so many times, but she keeps going back to teaching maths A-level, to teaching maths GCSE, to teaching Key Stage 3. You know, she's just a born teacher. And she always teaches through games. She would try out the games on us when we were young. So, you know, she'd say, oh, I've got this bit of an idea about an activity I might do. Sometimes it was an activity, sometimes it was a game. And she'd try it out on me and my sister first. And we would have to feed back to her on what we thought. And she'd really look for our reactions and how engaged we were. And one of the interesting things between me and my sister was that we approach things very differently. My sister is an academic learner. So she will approach tasks very academically and work quite systematically. And I am more interested in the drama of the situation, probably. So, you know, I want to talk about things rather than always get on and do things. So games often suited me because I was able to chat about it and do things rather than just having to work through a series of problems, which I found difficult. So my mum, who was teaching, was also learning and developing all the time. And she was really interested in the feedback she got from us as her children. So this idea that you can be an adult but also learning, this idea that you can keep creating new stuff and that games are a really good way to learn things, that was very much instilled in me from an early age.